We live.
Live.
Hey man, say man, it's the King Deontay back with another message to the people, and already know we here with the King Shinobi.
King Shinobi. Happy to be here. Happy to be here in this new atmosphere. We keep changing it up on y'all.
New space. This last time we was outside by the tree.
Now
we got a whole new space. We got a little backdrop behind us. We got everything going.
And us being out by the tree, we was just out by the tree before we started this video.
Right.
But we were talking about like having your roots, like just in life or business or whatever you want to pertain it to. Just making sure you have like strong roots. But we were talking about like
making sure you're in the right soil.
Yeah, like the actual cultivation of the soil. The soil has to be right. And then when the soil is right, you have all the right conditions that you need to put a plant in there. Then you have to make sure you put the correct plant in there that goes with that specific soil that you've been cultivating. And then you gotta water and sun and nurture and all that, to actually have something sprout.
Gotta maintain it, keep taking care of it.
Yeah.
First you gotta plant your seed. You gotta know what seed you want to plant, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to get to, depending on whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then make sure you're in the right area to get that done. You have the right things around you to help you get it done. Right tools, people, knowledge, whatever the case may be that you need to get what you're trying to accomplish done. So you gotta make sure you're in the right places, around the right people. Make sure you choosing your time wisely, spending it wisely. So let me make sure everything that goes into growing you and your plant together. But today's message is about reading. It's about getting knowledge from books, audiobooks, maybe newspapers, wherever you get your source of knowledge from, maybe the internet, who knows. But it's about books today. So the first question is, how often do you read? Like I said, how often do you read?
How often do I read? I would say every day. I would say it's not extensive every day.
Yeah.
But I try to fit in some type of time, even if I read a page of something, even if it's on my phone. I know we've gotten used to using our phones. I prefer books, but I would say every day. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always, throughout my days, always come across something that I'm like, what is that?
Something that makes you want to read.
Yeah, it make me want to read or research. It could be, because I do a lot of writing as well. So I might hear a word that I've never heard before, and I'm gonna go straight up, look at what it means,
right.
See how to implement it, into my vocabulary and into my writing, because I like writing stories and things like that as well.
You say you like books better, but I was gonna say that audio books or hardback. But I was gonna say I like hardbacks better because I can go in and highlight, be able to go back and look to it. Like say if like I do, like you say, if you see words you don't know, I can go and highlight, go back, write it down, go back to it. And okay, this is what I learned from that word. Maybe, like you said, try to implement it into what you into your vocabulary or what you're doing now. So you have or it affects your life, like a word you might know, but it might be something like a word like what is it? Humble, like the word humble. I seen it on Instagram the other day. The dude was like talking about it. He was saying like it's supposed to be like people say it's like a good word, but like when you look at the definition, it kind of like goes against what it is, like the actual meaning of it. But I was like, that's something I didn't know because I just think you said something that sparks your interest. So it's like one of those I had looked it up. I was like, okay, it says like really said in like okay, I'm being humble, like I'm trying to not be what is the word, like too bold or too proud about myself. But it's like it's kind of like saying the opposite. It's like you kind of like shying away from being who you're supposed to be and stuff like that. So it's like the definition was kind of getting that. But like I said, I was like I said, it's something that made me just like curious, that sparked my mind, like crossed my mind. Like he said, I was like, okay. I mean, I never looked up the definition of the word. So how do I know if that's true or not? So I have to look it up for myself to actually see. Like okay, because like he just like I said, just sparked something in my head. Like, okay, I need to actually go look that up because I never really knew the definition. So it's like we use a lot of words, but we don't necessarily might not know the actual meaning of the word behind it. That's like one of the things that made me think about it. I was like, okay, I'll just go look it up.
Well, also I've learned that when I'm looking up these definitions, there are various ways, or there's various definitions of the same word,
right,
and how it can be used as well.
I know there's like I know be saying like, because like depends where you click on it. Because like say if you get it like Wikipedia, you might get something different, or like a different website or different Like, it might be like a dictionary book or like an encyclopedia, stuff like that. So like, depends on where the definition comes from. Because like I said, I can't say I read a whole dictionary or encyclopedia, but it's like words in there that you might not have read, or you might come across, like somebody might say it in like a conversation, but you don't know what it is because you're not a part of that lingo or something like that. So like different words, you need to like maybe go research, or you got to do your own, like if you run across it, you just come across your own knowledge about it, I should say.
And I also look up definitions because I want to be able to speak well.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to actually be using the word right. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I came across knowing that there's different meanings. Because going back to writing, when I'm writing, I'll know that word in my head. When I write it, I'll write it out. It'll make sense. But then some words I always kind of like double check, like, is this the right word that means that?
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes it's not that first definition, but it's used in a different way.
Right.
And you figure out, okay, I am using it right because it can be used for, this specific thing too, as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's also like how you use the word.
Right. That's another thing. Like I said, it's not the same person. But like speaking on like how words can be used, it was like I seen like certain things that just make you like, I want to say like make you think. But like I came across another thing where it's like how certain words can be used in different ways, and then like you said, like it could be one meaning for the word, and then there's another meaning for it. So just like you're saying, there's like different ways you can use words, and like what I'm trying to say, like use them, and each sentence how depends on how you use the word or how you're trying to come across with the word, I should say. But as far as reading, I know one of the things I'm trying to start doing now is like implementing like habits. It's like reading like 10 pages, trying to at least read 10 pages a day. So that way, like, for most books, I feel like 10 pages is probably like either the full chapter or maybe like half a chapter, something like that. So that's like a good way for me to like start like implementing like reading more, because like I haven't been like a big reader, but like since high school, I've been kind of like reading more to like get more knowledge and stuff like that. So like reading for me is like helping me like grow either financially. It depends like the type of books you're reading financially. Could help you go physically, like if you're reading like anatomy or something like that about your body, or if you're reading about like just a fictional book, something just to help you like laugh or something like that. You never know what the book could be used for. But I know like reading helps with like a different bunch of different things in your life. So like some of the books that I have with me, well, this is the first book I actually read coming out of school. It's called Rich Dad. I got a little grade, but it's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I still haven't read that one.
This one?
That's one I've heard so many things about, but I still got to read
it. It goes into about like being into like employee, entrepreneur, or like an employee, a self-employed, a business owner, and then like an investor. So it's teaching you about like each quadrant, and then like how like each person thinks and stuff like that. Like the aspect of his poor dad and then the aspect of his rich dad. That's what it goes into. So like how both of them was thinking, and then like what he was telling them to do. So you're saying like either you're going to be working for money or having your money work for you.
So really diving into the mentality.
Yeah, because he was going into like his poor dad was like, he wasn't necessarily poor, but he was like a middle class worker. He had like these, I think I want to say it was a bank. I'm not sure. It might have been his rich dad. But he was saying like he worked these regular job, probably like as a doctor or something like that. But like he was like struggling to make ends meet. But like his rich dad was like he worked with like he wasn't a college graduate, none of that. But he worked with like some of the biggest people on Wall Street and stuff like that, like big investors. But he didn't. He was just a regular dude. So it's saying like it was just his mindset that he had of working about money, stuff like that. That's what he was getting into. So like really like for me, I would say it gave me that because like it's talking about how you are an employee, what you do as an employee, as a self-employed, and like as a business in each sense. So it kind of like gave me opened my eyes. So okay, I can be an entrepreneur, or I could be like a business owner or an investor. So it's like there's different ways. You just have to like open your mind to like those type of thinkings and those teachings that they have or that they go through, I should say.
What's something that sticks out that you learned that has helped you with your business?
As far as like help with my business, it's kind of like going through like having like structure and like let me see, like having a structure and actual like end goal for your business. So like for him, he was saying like it's kind of like going into it's saying like what the each quadrant is. it's not necessarily like what the business person does and how much like they make or stuff like that, but it's more so like telling you like this is what each quadrant is, like kind of like goes into like what each quadrant is.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as let me go to it if I can find it in here, because it's like man, I'm trying to think.
While you look for that, I'm gonna grab this book.
All right. Hold up. I just had it the other day. Quadrants. Because it goes into like chapters of like why the rich don't work for money. It's saying like why people don't work for money, like how they make their money, and then like the different aspects they do in their day-to-day life. Because he said like his rich dad was like he would work for maybe like 4 to 5 hours a day, not doing too much, and meet with those people. And then like after that, like he was working for them. He went to go work for him. Basically, what this, like this part of the story is. So it's saying like how he went to go work for him and told him like, I'll pay you this amount of money, but it's not. It was probably like 10 cents or something like that to come in and like do this. So then like he gave him like some comic books at the end of the working for him. So like he told him like basically like you're gonna work for kind of like in business like starting out. You're gonna get a little starting out, then like as you get your product and put it out, you're gonna get more back. So like he got the comic books and was been like able to sell them. He would have been able to sell the comic books for more,
Gotcha.
but he told him not to sell them though. So it sound because it sound like you can get more for it, but he'll sound like if you hold on to it more, you get more profit, more value. So it sound like how like kind of going into like your expenses and stuff like that as well. So like he's talking about like the cash flow, like I was saying. Talking about each quadrant. Let me slow down. He's talking about each quadrant. So he's talking about like going into being a business investor, your business owner, investor, employee, or self-employed. Then he's going into like the actual finances, like how your money flows and stuff like that.
He broke all those down.
Yeah. So this is what I was trying to get to, not the employee quadrant, but he was going into the income assets. You can't really see it here, but he's showing like. How your money needs to flow is what he was talking about. That's what I was getting to, like how your money needs to flow in business. Like you need to have your money going to like you was talking about the other day, like buying products, like buying shirts, buying hats, like investing like maybe $50 each week to like get more products. He was saying you need to like spend your money. The business owner is going to like spend his money first on products, products that he needs, and then for like basically expenses. And then like the output of what he's going to get in return. So he's going into like each, like how your money needs to flow. Cause like if you're saying like employee, your tax is going to get taken out first. Then you're going to spend it on bills. And then you have like,
know it.
Yeah, then you have like whatever is left over. So it's going into all like those, that's what like helped me into like business aspect. Like I need to be spending money on my business first and not just like waiting to get money on my business. Like investing in my business, like putting money in, so that way more business can flow through it.
Yeah, the way you broke down being an employee, that's why I don't want to be one.
Right.
All that, man. Because sometimes I'll be looking at my checks and I'll be looking at like before things start getting deducted.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I could be living very nice right now if I wasn't having all these deductions in my check. And so it's like, this is gone before it even gets to me.
Well, I ain't even seen it yet.
Yeah, and it's like, how and why? I mean, I know who's doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole state of mind of just me being like, I'm just gonna be in this long term.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm doing it while, I need to build things, but yeah, I can't stay as an employee.
Yeah.
For myself.
So that's like I was saying, like the main thing that really like opened my eyes. I was like kind of like having like getting business, being a business, like being either in either quadrant was like one of the things that opened my eyes. Like anybody can do it, because he was saying like his rich dad wasn't like necessarily college graduate. He wasn't the smartest man in the world, but he just knew like business. He had business sense and business knowledge. He was willing to learn and do things on his own, try stuff out. So as far as like I was saying, it taught me, it was like you could be in each quadrant, and then like you need to have your money flowing, which you need to know where your money is flowing to. So it's like one of the things I had to like actually sit down and write down my finances, see where my money, like you're saying, you can see all your deductions that's coming out of your check, but you don't see all those deductions coming out of your bank account. So like you don't see where all your subscriptions are, all your where you spending your money on food and stuff like that. You don't see all of those coming out. So that's like one of the things. It was like helped me to really understand. Like I need to like know where, like be able to track each dollar basically. Because I know I seen a post where it's saying like a rich man, like a real wealthy man, can like he making a lot of money. He'll be able to tell you where he spent his last $3, something like that, because he knows like he really tracking his money. But like if you ask like a random person on the street, when's the last time you spent $3, or what's the last $3 you spent? They're like, I don't know. So it's like you got to really know your finances and stuff like that. I mean,
that's another level too. Just knowing on another level.
Cause I'm just getting to basic level right now, but it's like you really got to know like you saying like taxes and all that. You really got to know stuff like that as well.
That's when that discipline kick in, man.
Right.
For real. Cause it takes discipline to constantly go back and track. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to spend. It's easy to just spend and forget. But it actually takes some discipline to be like, all right, I'm spending this. Like really tracking down. And you said each dollar. Now I'm learning to track down each cent, bro. Each cent, man. Like if I see a cent on the ground, I'm picking that up and I'm tracking that too.
Oh yeah.
You know? So
there's a penny on your head. Okay, let me get that.
Right. So I'm getting in better habits. So I can relate to that for sure, man. Cause you know I've been there where I just spent, and then you're like, where's my money going?
Right.
You know, and you know we talked about like redoing your budget. Yeah. You know, shit every couple of months, shit every month if you want. You know, but those things become vital. You know, especially when you're taking more risks, you're making more investments. And then you still got to pay everything on the back end, your bills and all that. Right. Like it becomes a necessity to track everything, man, or else it's just gonna continue to deplete. You know,
right? So that's like the main thing. Like really, like if you don't know where your finances is headed, it's just gonna be going anywhere. Like say, like you were saying, like if you don't have like that set structure for your finances, or like that clear goal where your finances is going, it's gonna be like all over the place. You're not gonna be knowing where your money is at. You're gonna be like, oh, I got paid just the other day. Why am I broke by Tuesday or something like that? Like, because like you don't know where your money is going. That's like a main thing that I really have to focus on. Is like, since I'm like moving out on my own, you have to really focus on getting your money together, and then like getting a structure. Like trying to like I said, especially for business, I got to be able to file my taxes. Like they were, oh, where's this money coming from? Where's how did you like accepting payments, stuff like that? Got to have like all that filed down to like in one section, so it's not like, oh, I got to go look over here to find this, look over there to find that, like get payments and stuff like that. There's like another thing, you got to be like having like one, like I guess you could say like one funnel or one channel of like where all your streams or your money is going. You know where all your money is going to, I should say. But as far as like books that helps you financially, do you have any, or have you read any?
Yeah, man. Damn, man. I'm gonna be mad if I can't remember the name of this one, man, because this was like, I was like probably about maybe like 5-6 years ago. I really realized that I had to search out more financial knowledge because I didn't come up with that knowledge, you know. And it took me having a lot of bad spending habits and being put in a lot of situations that I didn't want to be financially for me to be like, you know what? I need to learn a new way because this way isn't working, you know? So I really like took it upon myself one day, man. It was almost like a cold turkey kind of thing. I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I need to know money. I need to know finances. I need to have an understanding of money other than just spending shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because money is used to be pushed back out, accumulated, then push it back out to gain more. Yeah, not just to hold on to it, because it's just paper. It doesn't hold any value.
It's this constant cycle and this constant flow.
Right, like you're saying, like looking up the actual word, like currency. Like the currency is supposed to flow through, so you gotta like keep the money flowing in, flowing out. Like looking up words, knowing words like that. Like you're saying, like how to use the word in the sentence and how the word actually can be used in different ways. So So like you got to have your money flowing in, flowing out. Like you said, like going through that, actually knowing how to like get your money, like knowing how to like actually know about money and stuff like that. Being in a different mindset, like was hard for me. Like this, like when I just moved out, like before I moved, like I really had to get that mindset of like, okay, I really got to know money and stuff like that. Like you said, I'm just at the beginning stages, but like got to know like how to structure my bills, how to like when everything's going to be due and stuff like that, making payments, make sure I'm on time.
Because you have to manage what you have.
Right.
It's like, this is what I got. What am I gonna do with it? You know, if there's not more, you know, coming in or just a little bit at a time. Because think about the job you had before you moved, and then the one you have now.
Yeah.
You had to adjust, because I know that's different numbers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you have to adjust to exactly what you have, and you have to make that work. Right. So it's like sometimes you got to break it down into small portions. Like you know, we used to do what, $100, $100 like every 2 weeks, $100, $50 each,
50-50, like
50-50, and he would order what he wanted, I would order what I wanted. If I needed shirts, I'd order that. If I had to figure out like, okay, is this whole order just gonna be shirts? Or is this order going to be a couple shirts? I want to try out some new stuff, so let me get a pair of shorts.
Right.
And, you know, all those prices are going to be different.
Right.
So it might be $30 for my shorts, but I'm like...
We only got $50 though.
Yeah, right. I'm like, if I don't get this, I'm not going to be able to experiment with it and feel it and shit like that, you know? So sometimes you got to be like, okay, next 2 weeks, this is what I'll get this with that. You know what I'm saying? So
I'll put a little extra to the side for this.
Exactly. And then, you know, say if shirts are cheaper, you'd be like, okay, let me get these shorts, and then all the rest is just gonna go to shirts. Yeah. So that way I have some shirts in my back pocket. You know what I'm saying? Since the shirts are, you know, what's selling, I'll continue to funnel into that, and you know, so I can have like back stock and shit like that, so I'm not running out of shirts, you know. But you know, you just got to figure it out with what you have, what you're working with. You know, if you can only save $5, $1, like have the discipline to throw that dollar in there. You know, whatever you're gonna choose to, you know, hold it in. Make sure you have the discipline to do that every time. The discipline to not touch it and to not want to go into those habits of just wanting to spend. You know.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me. Like, that was like one of the disciplines I did. Like before I moved out, was like saving every penny, every dollar I could. So if I had like, say if I went to the store and I spent like, I had like a $5 bill and I just spent something like I got a $1 bar of candy. All them $4 I gotta save them. The coins I gotta save them too. So it's like even if it's just $4 left, I'm putting all that to the side and I'm saving. So it's like if I break down to 20 or whatever the case may be, if I get ones, I'm saving those. So all the ones, I'm saving it. The coins. It's like you in crunch time, you got to do it or whatever you can. So it's like every dollar, every penny, it counts. So don't think like, oh, I just spent $1 over here or $5, $10 here at Starbucks. It don't matter. Yeah, all that, those little spending habits you have, all of them add up at the end of the day.
That shit adds up to hundreds, and if you got it like that, thousands.
Right.
You know.
Like especially over like the period of a month. Say if you go to, let's say like if I wanted to go out eating or something like that. Say if I go out eating twice a week. That's like $20 right there, depending on the food you get. $20. So 20 times 4, that's $100 right there. At the end of the month, that's $1,200. At the end of the year, that's $1,200. So it's like that could have went to something else, but you're thinking like, I'm just going out to eat. You're not thinking about like it's $1,200 that I spent, but it's like that's $1,200 that could have been something invested into your business, something invested in you, or whatever the case may be. Could have bought you a new purse, whatever, if that's what you wanted. But that's not gonna make you no more money. But that's what I'm just saying. At the end of the day, it's like all those spending habits you do have, or the your financial, wherever your financial literacy is right now, is going to determine how much money you do get and how you retain your money, I should say.
Like my mindset completely had to change. It had to change to just buying things to being like, all right, if I buy this, is this going to bring something back to me?
Yeah.
You know? So that has helped me tremendously, just changing the mindset. And all this shit comes down to mindset, man, at the end of the day, bro. Because I think of my old mindset and it was just spin, and oh, maybe I'll get some more, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like, no matter what it is, it's like, is that worth me getting it?
Yeah.
You know, so you also don't want to fall into the consumer trap of thinking that you need things that you don't need, you know. So getting into that mindset of, now I'm looking at everything as an investment. I'm like, is this gonna bring me something back? Is this gonna do something good for me? You know what I'm saying? Is this gonna help me accumulate, or am I just gonna have this? Am I gonna get this thing, be happy that moment that I get it, but then you realize that your desire for it outweighed you actually having it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I learned that a lot through just buying junk, thinking that you want certain things, you know. And now I'm just like, but going through that, it made me realize, like, okay, I don't need these things. I can get these things when I want, you know. I can put some money to the side just to save up to get something. I don't have to have that thing right now. My life's not going to change, or my life's not going to get better just because I have this thing in my possession, you know.
So like I'm saying, like, unless you go through the actual process, you're not gonna know until you actually go through it. So like you said, having that mindset change, you're not gonna necessarily know, like, your mindset has changed until you fully go through the process and actually see the transformation, like see the changes that you like actually implement on the daily. So it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna just set up, try to change my mindset today, and it's gonna switch by tomorrow. It's gonna be like actual over time, like you said, it's gonna be compounded daily. Like you like you say, you gotta be tracking your finances monthly, doing it quarterly, if like not quarterly, but like every 2 weeks if you can. Like just keeping track of where you're spending your money. But as far as books, this is the...
Oh, I'm sorry. We got off the fucking question.
We were trying to talk about finance with the book, so you know what I'm saying?
I was trying to remember the name of that book though, bro.
Oh,
it might have been Millionaire Mindset, and I forget the author, but it might have been Millionaire Mindset, man. I'm gonna find it after this, but yeah, that was one I read. I remember because I used to when I first started my career, I used to work out in the Everglades a lot, and you know the stations out there are slow as shit, bro. So I could literally just go out there, wouldn't get a call all day, and I could just sit there, read, write, learn about business. You know what I'm saying? I literally built everything that's going on now there.
While at work in the station.
You know, and I remember specifically because, dude, I was heavily into that book, man, because, you know, I used to check the truck out and all that, and then I would go out in the bay. Table was set up out there, chair was set up out there, and I remember days after days after days sitting there reading that book, highlighting all this shit, man, like really absorbing it. And then not only doing that, I started like implementing it, like to see if it worked and shit. And that book in particular, dude, it changed. It literally like a switch went off in my head by reading that. And it made me realize how much of a mindset that it was, and how I had been conditioned. I'd pretty much been conditioned to be poor and to be a worker, you know, kind of waiting for a check. And when I read this book, it was kind of like, it was very enlightening because I'm like, man, this is all in my head. You know? So it really helped me to really like leap into financial responsibility and just that mindset in general, you know, and I just continued it over the years. But I believe it's called Millionaire Mindset or a Millionaire Mind. I had to put it up when I edited it, but but yeah, that one definitely helped me, bro. I wish I could remember the author because you helped me a lot, bro. You helped me a lot. I don't know you, but you helped that click in my head, you know, and I just started fucking rolling downhill after that, you know, getting bigger and bigger. All that knowledge just started gaining, you know, get bigger and bigger, man. So that was a great book, man.
When did you first read that book?
It was about 6 years ago, bro. Okay. 5-6 years ago.
6 years ago. Still putting in that work?
Still putting in that work, bro.
Still grinding, still figuring it out.
Because, you know, at that same time, I was just kind of like figuring things out, you know, figuring life out. Like, man, well, how do I get to where I want to be? Like, how the fuck do I even start? You know? And that was like a great start for me. It all started here in the mind, you know? So before you start any kind of endeavor, you got to have your mind right, you know? You can't have a mind that's misguided trying to go create a legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's something I could tell you guys is like get your mind right before you take that big leap. Make sure you have the right mindset to actually go into it, you know.
Actually set your mind on what it is you want to get accomplished. You got to figure that out first before you make any leaps. You can't just be jumping out blind. You actually got to kind of have you're gonna have like a target out there. Like you can't, not necessarily going to hit the target. You might jump too high, jump too far. You might overachieve your goals. You never know. But you got to have a goal or achievement that you want to reach, and then don't stop until you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're saying, you was well, as far as like you're saying, you was thinking about like figuring out everything. You was like figuring out the podcast or like figuring out like just life in general.
I think I would say life at that time.
Okay.
You know, the podcast was always something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to figure out myself, for one, how I was going to support myself, you know, and I started thinking more of generational wealth. I started getting more into that mindset because, you know, years prior, generational wealth wasn't even, I never put those two words together, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, you start having kids and shit, then your mind, then another switch goes off.
Yeah.
You're like, shit, I gotta do something for somebody, you know, other than me, you know, and I gotta make sure that
I'm a good example.
Yeah, I'm a good example for one. I gotta make sure that they don't come up with that same mindset I had. So that way, you know, they can at least have an advantage,
right?
You know, moving forward. I'm not gonna hold their hands at all, but I will definitely give them a nice advantage, you know, from the beginning, from the start.
How you be standing on top of my shoulders when it's your turn.
Straight up, you know. And I realized that it's okay for me to like go all in and get to a certain point that they can take off, you know. So
kind of like they piggybacking off of, but they actually have to build their own self up as well. Like you have a ceiling, like I heard is like you want your ceiling to be your kid's floor is what you want it to be. Mm-hmm. So like that way like they are here, like they have the knowledge that you didn't have as a kid, not necessarily the things you didn't have, but like not necessarily like toys and stuff like that, but like the knowledge you didn't get, maybe the respect or love, whatever case may be, that you didn't have as a child. Like you need to, not necessarily like say like I said, like kid toys and stuff, but like the what is it? Damn. The thing I'm looking for is like the knowledge, the discipline. I was looking for discipline, and then like routines, your habits and stuff like that is like what you want to like implement in your kids and like excel them in. So that's going to be like the biggest thing to like push them forward and give them like that, be able to stand on your shoulders, like you by discipline and giving them those attributes and stuff like that while they're young. Like you got to think about it, like we say, well, I'm in my 20s now, but people look at me as like a child or something like that. But it's like, nah, I'm like kind of like in a man stage, I would say. Like you got to like become a man, I would say, in a sense. Like you're not like a teen anymore. You're like, you really got to figure out things. It's not like you can have time to play or time to joke around or hang out all the time. So like, you really got to like start figuring out where it is you want to go, because like your 20s is supposed to like help you excel in your 30s. So like your 20s is like your founding, like your building blocks, I would say. And then like 30s, you should like kind of start peeking into what you're doing, I should say. It's not necessarily like there's a set goal or a set plan, routine, but it's like what you should be doing. Because like after your teens, it's like you out of school. It's like now you really got to figure out life, figure out what you want to become, and figure out what you want to do. So it's like there's no more kind of like time to just play, hang out, and just chill around, I should say. So it's like you really got to like figure out what it is you want to do and figure out where you're trying to go. Because if you like you said, if you don't have no foundation or no set like place you're trying to get to, you're just gonna be out wandering, just lost, follow behind everybody else, follow where everybody else going.
That urgency, man. You get a lot more urgency. I can definitely say into my 30s, I got a lot more urgent about these types of things, you know? Because I realized that there's no moments to waste. I look back on the things I was doing and how much fucking time was wasted. And you're like, you know what? I ain't doing that no more. You know? So that was that was a biggie for me. It's just the urgency. My urgency started to rev up, into my 30s. Like, hey, bro, you gotta do something.
Right.
And you can't be bullshitting around, man. You really, just like your finances, breaking it down to every cent, you got to do the same thing with your time. Because, whatever you do with your time, your life is going to reflect it, If you have to borrow all the time and parties, then your life is going to reflect that. If you focused, your life is going to reflect that as well. So, you have to manage everything, bro. It's not just this, I just got to manage my money. Now it's like, damn, I got to manage where I'm at. Because if I'm not managing my time correctly, then where is my money going to be?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The places I'm going and the things I'm doing and the time I'm putting in, is that going to contribute to all these cents that I'm tracking down? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, urgency, man. Having a sense of urgency, like you won't be fucking here tomorrow, because that could be a possibility. That could be a real possibility, trust me. So I think that grew with me, as I grew, my urgency to get things done. I started to do less bullshit.
Yeah.
I realized all the bullshitting I was doing, and it wasn't gonna get me to where I saw myself. Because I see myself somewhere. But, as you're going through and figuring things out, you start to realize what isn't going to get you there.
Yeah.
And you have to fucking leave that shit behind.
Right.
Leave it behind, and you're going to make a lot of people mad, because it's going to be people, Some of the things you used to just enjoy, you're going to have to enjoy it on a smaller scale now. So is life about enjoyment, or is it about progression for you, We need both, but what are you willing to pour more of your time into? That's what you got to ask yourself. You want just a life of pleasure, or do you want to be able to have that pleasure and that prosperity, but you're not just going to be able to go out and just get it. It's a day-to-day thing, and you gotta look in the mirror and make sure that you're doing exactly what you need to do, being real honest with yourself.
So that's where it's gonna count the most, when you're looking in the mirror. Because you can lie to everybody else, fool everybody, but when you look in that mirror at night, and you and God know if you doing what you're supposed to be doing, or if you on the right track, wrong track. If you wasted a day, if you got something productive done that day, you gonna know, and you gonna feel it when you get home, because you're either gonna be happy with yourself, mad with yourself, or depressed about yourself, whatever the case may be, whatever emotion you intend on. You portray, or whatever emotions you feel about what you do. So like at the end of the day, you're going to get your goals and dreams. It's going to be on you to achieve them, and then it's going to be on you to gather those around you and pull those around you to help. So if you're not doing it yourself, it's not going to go as far as you think it is. If you're not being the one that's putting the effort forward, being the one that's putting the forefront, the most motion behind what you got going on, it's not going to progress as far as you think it will. It might just be just a dream.
That's a biggie. If it's your thing, if it's your legacy you building, you got to put into it more than anybody. You got to be willing to bear that weight, bear that cross, and put everything into it, man. Nobody else should be putting more into it than you, than your own thing. So don't expect people to, don't get mad at people because you think they're not supporting enough and shit like that. Just take it as it is and find a way to make it work,
You can only give so much to somebody to help them grow, and then you can only give so much and get so much from people to help grow. So you can only receive so much from one person, and so one person can give you so much. So it's you can't expect one person to do all of it, and then one person can't expect you to do all of it either, in that sense.
And, other people you bring into your vision, they're not supposed to have that same intensity.
Right.
It's not theirs. They're not going to have that same intensity as you, we were talking about that as well. Just, I think the cure to that is finding people that have your same, your same drive.
It doesn't have to be the same job for the same goal, but you have to like the same, like you don't have to have like a podcast and your friend has to have like drive you have a podcast, but it's like y'all have a drive to build yourself and go better. So it's like, say if your friend, like how we do now, you have the podcast, I make shirts. We both came together to improve ourselves. So like we're making shirts together and doing a podcast together. So we're building each other up.
Now we got the shirts on the podcast.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So we do it together. So like how you do George, like with George. We brought George on, he brought George, not we, he brought George on here. He knew him first. But he brought George on here for the dogs, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody that you brought onto the podcast is like, they're doing their own thing, but they're coming together to help build George up as you building them up as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like finding those people that you can actually network with and build and grow together. Yeah. It's not just about helping each other like in business. It's about like if you want to actually be business partners, you got to be like, or a relationship, you want to have like the actual relationship with each other.
Yeah, find dedicated people. Find people that are as dedicated or even more than you are, you know, in their personal life.
Right.
People that are already doing that themselves, they're going to do it regardless of who's there. You know, connect with those kind of people, because those kind of people are going to stand the test of time, and you're going to be able to have longevity with those people because they're already self-motivated, you know, and they're not broken easily, you know. That's the kind of people you need beside you, man. People that don't get shaken up easy, you know, because in this game, especially entrepreneurial game, it's a lot of self-doubt and just doubt in general that can come at you and affect you. But now you gotta have a real iron will for this shit, man.
I think it was maybe a second, not last video. It might have been like the second last video. He was like operating in chaos. He was talking about that. It's like you got to be able to really operate like when things like not looking good, or like when you first move. Like for me, I would say me operating chaos is like when I first moved out. It was like, okay, now I gotta, like I was saying, figure out finances, stuff like that. But it's like now it's like, I gotta get a job. I gotta figure out where I'm working at. So it's like you gotta operate in that mindset. It's okay, I don't have money coming in, but I got to be able to maintain the my composure and not like stress out. Like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you really gotta have that, like you said, that mindset of like being able to compose yourself and be able to operate in that state of like, okay, things not looking like I just moved, so it's like of course I'm not gonna have a job, but like you can have something lined up. But I was looking like, okay, I'm gonna start my t-shirt business, so it's like I knew like I wasn't gonna be able to just move out and then boom, t-shirt business is gonna be booming off the start. I knew that wasn't gonna happen, but if it did, it would have been good. But that still, if that does happen at some point, the business got to come down. So you got to be able to go through those ups and downs in life to be able to really test and see who you are as a person.
It's definitely a roller coaster ride, that's for sure.
Right.
And just know you gonna believe in it more than anybody else, man. So just know that. So don't do it for that purpose, right. You know, for notoriety or to be seen. Like, really have it come from a real, like, pure place, or else it's not gonna work, you know. If you don't have the right intentions when you're going into things, that shit ain't gonna work, or it ain't gonna turn out like you would like it to turn out, right. You know. So go in there with a pure heart, whatever you're doing. Believe in what you're doing, man. If you really believe in something that's gonna get you up every day to, you know, keep pouring into it, then you can't be stopped.
That's the main thing. You got to believe before anybody else do, though. So it's like, if you don't believe in what you got going, people going to believe in you to a certain extent. Like, once they see your belief starting to fall down, they going to start falling off as well. So it's like, if you're not, like, they see you giving in or giving up on your dreams, then they going to know, like, or it's not necessarily for you to be like, I got to prove to everybody else. Like you're saying, you got to do it be doing it for yourself, like doing it for a bigger reason for you, not just so everybody see me and I'm a big star or something like that. Or like, or I just got all the money and stuff like that. I'm rich, whatever the case may be, who you want to be like notarized for. But it's like, you got to be doing it for something that like fills you, that makes you grow. Like you said, want to get up out of bed and do it.
And something bigger than you.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. Like, especially being a father and shit, bro. It starts to go beyond you, you know. You start to think of, what can I do for others?
Right.
You feel me? And that gets me up every day. Yeah, of course I'm doing it for myself. I have goals, you know, I'm doing it for my kids, but it even goes further than just, you know, my family, like my immediate family. It's pouring out actually pouring out into the world, you know, as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So
like this message here can reach somebody across the world, somebody in another state, and then they can get some knowledge from it, get some gain from it. Any of your episodes, any of your podcasts, Shinobi Wisdom, any of those could go out to anybody in the world.
Anybody.
Give them something, like give them a spark in their brain to change their life.
Shit, I had a homie hit me up today from back home. He was like, I don't know how you knew I needed to hear that, because I sent him like a little clip from one of the new episodes. And I was like, shit, I didn't, but I didn't know you needed to hear that, but I'm glad, I'm glad I was able to say something that could really resonate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That people can feel, and not only feel, but they're like, oh man, that was actually some value to me.
They can actually like relate to it, and then like you said, feel it as well. That's the thing. You want to be able to not just give a message, but actually give a message that they can actually receive as well. Not just some jibber jabber.
Yeah. And not a message where you're just totally downing people. Putting yourself above people,
Cause ain't nobody better than the next man. We all got our own problems, trauma going on. We all got our own issues. Like you said, we all have our own ups and downs. So we human just like the next person.
But sometimes motherfuckers be acting in a way where you just be wanting to, like, get that shit together.
That puts you in check, man. Tighten up.
Then it's back to love.
But this is a book I am currently reading. It's called Badass Habits.
Badass Habits.
It's basically it says 21-day guide to like making sure everything stick. It's like I was saying, like reading 10 pages a day. So it's starting like right now. It's going into like day 1, day 2, basically supposed to like write down the stuff that's going on. And day 1, day 2.
It's kind of like guiding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, well, right now for me it's like it's kind of like a confirmation book for me, because like we've been talking about habits this whole time. So it's like a confirmation book for me. Like it's really like confirmation of everything that we've been talking about. It's like really just writing it all down, getting it all together. So what is I'm really using it for. So for me, it's like to like really get on that path of like really putting myself in like a position to like start better habits. Like I said, reading 10 pages a day. I'm starting to do that. I used to do push-ups all the time, so I need to get back into that. I'm gonna start doing like 30 push-ups, 30 squats, at least minimum a day. Like if I don't work out or anything like that, starting getting like build better habits for myself. So that's like the thing I need to start implementing for me. I'm implementing myself.
Yeah, man. I was listening to a video. No, I was watching a video, and the guy was talking about, I forgot what country he went to, but he said he saw a bunch of like children monks, and he was like, they were just sweeping. You know what I'm saying? And he was saying how when he was talking to the elder monk, how they live a life of perfection. Like, so even they want to even perfect the act of sweeping. You know what I'm saying? And that really stuck with me, because I'm like, that really does, like looking at life from that perspective, that really does push you to a new level, Because think about sweeping. Most people think it's just something simple, you know what I'm saying? But that's cleaning up your space. That's getting the dirt out, you know what I'm saying? That's getting the impurities, thrown away, So it made me think, because I did last week. But it made me think though, because I do a lot of sweeping, and I kind of like, I do also use that as like a disciplinary tool. I really resonated with when he said that.
Right.
And I'm like, man,
kind of like gave you that thought process. Like, okay, like it does. It's like, I was about to say, like it gave you that spark. Like this is what I do, but not even thinking about it. It like gave you like, okay, this is me, but not in a sense that I didn't even realize it.
That, but also it made me think of how I could implement that in like everything I do.
Okay.
In general, that was like my big takeaway from it.
Yeah.
The sweeping thing kind of caught my attention.
Yeah, just because you like sweep.
Yeah, because it's relatable.
Yeah.
But I also understand, like when you're sweeping, you need to be detailed. You know what I'm saying? You can tell between a good sweeping job and a shitty one. You know what I'm saying? So like getting every bit of dirt out, really working on perfecting it, it's going to carry over into your life with, the decisions you make and the things you do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm looking to have in my life. That's why I want to look from that perspective in every aspect.
Yeah.
If I feel like I treat everything that I do as me wanting to perfect this, then that shit's just gonna build me up like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Really, like you're saying, like getting those small wins, that's like a small win right there. Like when you really think about it, like if you stick to the habits that you're trying to build, you gotta look at those small wins that you do day by day and like habit stack. That's what like one of the things that's in the book is like habit stacking. It's like building like say like you're doing like you start doing one thing and then like just keep on building on to that same one. Don't try to like do too much at one time. Like focus on maybe one to like two, I'd say like maybe 3 things, like, and really make sure that you hit those goals every day and really like to give yourself a little small pat on the back to like actually like be, because like you're starting something new. You got to be like, okay, I am doing this and I'm just compounding daily to like get these wins, to get these small wins.
Compounding.
Because like over like, because like you say, if you do those over a course of a week, then it's like, okay, I done stayed consistent for a week. Now let's see if I can get a whole month. Now once you get a whole month, you go for another month. And then that month turns into 3. And that 3 months turns into maybe 6 months to a year. And it's like, okay, now after a whole year of doing this every day for the past whole year, you either went from this point, from point A to point Z. Now you're already at the end, or not at the end, but like you're at your next peak or your next valley, I should say.
Yeah, you got to train and retrain yourself. You know, you got to be your greatest teacher, really. You know, other than you learning from the higher power and getting guided by that,
Right.
like you have to put all the physical effort into it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, let's go back to what we were saying earlier about like having things like going for you. Like if you're not putting in the energy or the effort, nothing's gonna come back in return. Or like with your money, if you're not putting your money out there to like grow or invest in your money, no money is gonna come back to you. So like if you're not putting anything out there, you're not gonna get anything in return.
Yeah. So if you're just holding on to it, or if you're spending it, nothing's happening with it.
Right.
I mean, the spent money's getting spent.
Right.
But you
Something
know,
happening. It ain't coming back.
Exactly. But the money you're holding on to is just, it's there, you know. It's there for you to look at, I guess.
Make you feel good about yourself.
Right? Yeah. Don't get caught up in that. I'm glad you said that, man. Don't get caught up in that ego shit, man, of just saving your money and being able to look at this number of what you have, you know, or however you're saving your money, this pile of money that you have, you know, or whatever you're investing in, you know.
Like I said, you gotta get the money. You gotta, don't get me wrong, you do gotta save money to invest your money. So you gotta save it with a purpose, but don't just save it just to save it. So you gotta, like I said, I saved up to move out. So like I saved up to like have money to, like enough for rent, because I'm not gonna have a job, stuff like that. You gotta have like money for food, so you gotta save up for something. So it's like, say we're doing podcasts, if you wanna like a mic or a PC or something like that, you wanna save up for that. That's something that you can save up for, save your money for. That's like a good investment. But like if even if you wanna like go on a trip, something like that, you wanna save for that, not just jump out and do it. So it's like you want to be able to, like you said, control your money and control your finances.
Yeah, so much more freedom, man, because, you know, in this society we live in, finances are fucking freedom, bro.
Right.
If you ain't got it together, man, you just feel like a slave.
I gotta get up and work. Gotta go do this.
Yeah, it's a lot of you gotta do.
Right.
You know.
Not I get to do.
Yeah, I'm looking to be in the state of
I get to wake up. I get to wake up and do what I want to do. Like that's for my job.
Exactly. You know, something that is meaningful to me. You know, even more importantly.
You know, something that's meaningful to you and impactful to others as well. You don't want to just find something that's all me, or all the glory goes to you. You want to find something that's going to like put the light on you, but then reflect it back to others or back to the one that created you. That's what you need to do. Put the light back on the one that started. But as far as the last book I have,
remember that selfishness is gonna lead you to loneliness.
Stuck by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everybody be with you at one point. Then when they start seeing you selfish, go somewhere else.
Motherfucker gonna be in a pool of gold by themselves. Nobody to enjoy it with.
Yeah, get in the pool with your family.
Friends. Having a hella cookout.
Good old barbecue.
For real.
Now, this is the last book I have. I haven't read it yet, but this is the book I'm about to read next. It's called The Power of Empty. This is the empty is the word that I have to look at myself. It's like I know it's like kind of like feeling for others and stuff like that. I haven't listened to like look at the actual definition like I was talking about earlier. Actually looking up words. But this is by Michael Tennant. I got this book at it's called Fuck Up Night. It's in Fort Myers, Florida. But I went to the event. It was actually a couple months ago. I went to the event. I happened to see him there. He was one of the speakers at the event. I picked up the book.
What's his name?
Michael Tennant.
Michael Tennant.
Yeah.
Shout out Michael Tennant.
I got the book up there. It's actually Fuck Up Night is actually a pretty good event. It's about like it's about people coming like how we are now, talking about like being in our growing our businesses, and they're talking about like when things went wrong and how like they had to overcome their challenges. So that's basically what the event is about. But he was one of the speakers talking about how like he came out with the book, how like things was going, how he had like figure out what like taxes with like IRS and stuff like that. So he was going to like basically going into his story of like how he overcame his fuck up.
Gotcha.
So that's like this is the next book I'm going to read, and it gives his take on the empty. That's what the book is about. So this is going to be my next read here.
I bet that'll be a good one.
So I feel like he's going to give like more so. Well, for me, it's like empathy to like not just for myself, but like towards other people as well. Like giving me that another eye opener. So like that's like a word, like you said, feeling for other people, but he gives you his take on it. So it's like you're going to see into his eyes how he empathizes with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that would be beneficial for me to read too. Because sometimes, man, I'd be like so hard nosed sometimes.
Right.
It'd be hard for me to like have empathy for people that
can do for themselves.
No, people that fucking act weak.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Victims, like everybody, people that are victims and shit like that. It's, I don't know. I guess I have a problem when I sense anything I perceive as weakness.
Yeah.
Because it's only my perception. But
So you're saying like if you feel like somebody is playing like a victim role, not necessarily if they are a victim, but if they're playing like a victim role, yeah.
It's hard for me to have empathy.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know.
You like, I know you can get up and do more, or you can push beyond what you're saying you can't do.
Yeah. If I'm talking to someone that has like a specific problem, but you know, they understand the problem.
Yeah.
But they just choose not to take the steps to make it better.
That's what you're saying.
Sometimes it's hard for me
hard to
empathize with that. I'm just like, man, come on, man. But
it's like I see where you're coming from, but I can't feel where you're coming from.
Yeah.
At that point, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I got a real big peeve about people that play the victim. You know, they don't look at themselves or take the accountability themselves to change things. You know, if you don't like the state that you're in, work to change it. You don't have to be stuck in that state. You know, I know we're all different. You know, some of us can take hardships a little. I don't even really want to say easier, but
yeah,
I guess it's more of like an acceptance.
Can manage it a little better than others. Can manage it better than others.
Yeah. It's like an acceptance of this is what it is, and this is what I got to work with.
Right.
You know, just like the money we were talking about. Same thing in life. It's like if life is throwing me this shit, I can't control it, but this is what I have to work with. Right. So I might as well take an attitude of, hey, I'm gonna handle this, or I'm gonna figure this out, you know? Not the mentality of the world's beating me down and, you know, just pointing the finger at everything else.
Yeah.
You know? I think people have a hard time doing that.
Hard time taking accountability for themselves.
Yeah. Going back to looking in the mirror, you know?
All right. I was about to say, just going back to looking in the mirror, like you got to really look in the mirror and tell yourself what it is you are doing and what it is you're doing wrong. Because you know at the end of the day, everybody else might seem like you doing the best that you can, or you not doing enough, but you know at the end of the day if you're doing enough or you're not doing enough, or if what it is you're doing is wrong or right. So it's not like you can just look to somebody else and be like, oh, it's their fault that I'm in a bad money situation, or he's in a good money situation because of this person, or something like that. You got to look at what they did and what they actually accomplished and what they did to actually get there.
And you have to reflect on what you did to be in your position. What steps have you taken over periods of time
Right.
that have you right here in this present moment or this present situation that you're in, you know? You gotta take a long, hard look at yourself, man. I know it ain't easy. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes you look in that mirror and it be ugly what you gotta look at, you know? But
You gotta do it with your chin up, chest out, even if you got tears on your face.
yeah, bro, for real. All the above.
Like you're saying earlier, you got a snotty nose.
All the above, man. You have to, man. You gotta look through yourself. You gotta look through your own bullshit.
Sometimes you gotta go to the mirror with them tears in your eyes and just smile. Like, look, I'm accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna accept this cry. You feel I need this. Like sometimes you need to let it out.
Straight up.
You just gotta let it out and then going about your day.
Move forward.
You can't, cause like some things, like if we let it control, let's say like can let it control us, it might be like a moment that happened 10 seconds throughout the day, but those 10 seconds ruin the whole day for us.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta think about it, like you can't just let one moment control your whole life.
That's big too,
like,
man.
Yeah.
That's big too.
Cause like you might be like, I had a bad day, but it was like 15 minutes of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But that was your whole day. It ruined your whole day because you was stuck in traffic for 15 minutes, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's like, I heard that and that was like an eye opener for me. I was like, dang. Because he was talking about like how there's like, what, 8,400 seconds in a day, something like that. But it's like, but he said if you had like 8,400 in your bank and somebody took $10 out, would you be mad?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, no. But like, why would you let somebody do that for 10 seconds of your day or something like that? So I was like, that's like a big eye opener right there. Like you got to think about it. Like if you let anything just take that few seconds or a few little moments from you, like for the whole day or for a couple months, couple years, it could be a person, place, or whatever the case may be. Like you lost your boyfriend or girlfriend. Like you'd be like, oh, if you get stuck in that for like the whole year, you'd be like, the whole year is gone. Now you just stuck in that hurt. And the whole year gone, everybody done progressed, move forward, and you just stuck there like, dang, I'm stuck in this place. I don't know what to do.
And that's a key thing too, relationships, man. Some people get just straight up crushed by, you know, when things end. But you gotta take the opposite approach, man. You gotta take the opposite approach and use that as a springboard, use that as motivation, use that as a time to actually get to know you and yourself and how you want to live so you're not in that situation again. You know, it's about preventing yourself from repeating cycles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Repeating the same old shit. You know, because you know how it ends, you know, so apparently there must be a new way to go about things. Like a new approach has to happen, even if it's an uncomfortable approach or one that you're not used to.
Well, we're going back to building that new habit, something you have to build on. It's not going to be something that's going to change overnight or change bi-weekly. It's like you got to actually build on that and actually focus on changing it, and not just like thinking about it. Like, oh, I'll do this in a couple weeks. I'll work on that next month. But like you said, we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. We don't know if we're going to be here for the next few minutes. You never know. So it's like you have to just accept where you are now and progress from there. So you can't be like, oh, I want to be here and think in that state that you're already there. You got to think, not think from the state you're already there. You got to think from like, okay, I'm here. This is where I want to be. This is what I need to do in this exact moment to get there. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to think like, oh, I got it already. I'm going to just act like I got it and then be acting in a sense of like I have it in this moment when I know I don't. So it's like you have to really be in that moment and be present with yourself. Like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to do. And this is what I got to work on to get there.
No doubt.
So as far as this episode, do you have any books you would recommend for people to read before we get up out of here?
I do a couple. You know what's funny? Is I got Kenji into, well, we just started today too. But there used to be a show called Reading Rainbow when I was a kid.
I remember that.
And I was just thinking, you know, because I was thinking back to the shows that like really helped mold my mind.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, Reading Rainbow's a good one. So we started watching that today. He wasn't too into it because it's not all flashy and colorful, but we're gonna keep watching it. He gonna appreciate it one day.
You gonna have to like this.
He gonna appreciate it one day. But I'm like, this show made me like, for one, reading, which is our topic today. This made me want to read. This made me excited about reading. And I really felt like it made me a lot smarter as a kid. you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, into adulthood. But I'm gonna do my own version of reading Rainbow without reading the whole story because I ain't reading all that. But this is one that I'm reading currently. I think a lot of people know about this one. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. We got a little glare. Oh, there we go, baby.
Oh,
right there. Look at that man. He's looking out.
that beautiful sunset in the back.
He's conversing with God. He see his vision out there. Even though nobody else sees it, he knows it's going to come. He know he's going to bring it to fruition. Because he got that faith in it. He going to put the work in. He going to implement the discipline that he needs and make that shit a reality, you know. But this has been a real nice book. This really, from what I've read so far, it really kind of pumps you up as an entrepreneur, you know, because it gives a lot of examples of people that are very well known to this day, you know, like say Henry Ford, for example, the Ford Motors guy. But all these people started out with what was looked at as crazy ideas, you know what I'm saying, and end up revolutionizing the whole fucking world, you know, with these ideas. You know, he talked about Thomas Edison and other people
That's still going to this day.
Exactly. And these people were looked at as crazy back then, like, oh, you never make that happen, you know. So it really has a lot of those stories in there, and it really gives you a sense of like, it makes you feel like, man, I can do this shit,
right?
Because all these examples exist. You know what I'm saying? We got light bulbs in here and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you start thinking to yourself, and it gives you, or at least for me, I can say it gives you a lot of reassurance because it gives you so many examples of people that started from the bottom, and these weren't a lot of rich people. You know, not everybody, you know, was started out rich. These are people that, you know, had these ideas and didn't come from an esteemed family and things like that, but they were still able to make something happen because they believed in it. They took the steps. They got, you know, their idea out there, and then they got other people to believe in it, and help them along the way. You know, there's also a story in here about his son was born with no ears, but he still found out a way for his son to hear. You know. So he was
born out ears, but he found a way from here.
Yeah, so he's like, he talks about how he tricked himself into believing that he was gonna get his son to be able to hear. You know what I'm saying? You know, it goes from that to later on his son becoming like a big businessman and like being able to help deaf people on a global level. You know what I'm saying? With the technology that, you know, he created. And the guy was like, his son wanted him to like go to a meeting. He ends up going to the meeting and realizing that everything his son is teaching everybody there are some of the principles that he implemented in him as a kid to actually get him to the point where, you know, he can hear frequencies and things like that, you know. And it was real cool. Okay. But so far, that's what I've gotten out of this so far, you know.
To even be able to do that, like you gotta have that mindset. You like he said, I'm not taking no for an answer. That's the biggest mindset you gotta have. Not taking no for an answer. He had that, like, no, my son's gonna be able to hear. I'm gonna make sure he do it. So that's a big thing. You gotta major thing I took away from that right there. Just he had that mindset of, I'm not gonna give up until it's done. And
he said he had to convince himself. He was like, I had to convince myself that that my son, you know, wasn't deaf. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, he didn't accept it. Yeah, in a way.
It was kind of delusional, but like in a sense, he was like, no, I'm gonna make sure it happens. Like that's like a one thing. Like even if you don't see the way of it coming true, if you know that it can come true, like say if like your goal you're going towards, you don't necessarily see the way right now, how you gonna figure everything out, but you know in your mind it's gonna come true. You gotta have that belief, like, okay, I know I don't see it right now how it's gonna work, but I know it's gonna happen. So you just gotta have that belief that, like, okay, I gotta keep going and keep pushing into what I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah, and shout out to LeVar Burton. He helped millions and millions of kids learn how to read. Next one I'm gonna do is this one. I actually found this on Amazon while I was getting ready for my personal training exam. But this is an encyclopedia of exercise anatomy. It's pretty cool because it breaks down, lower body, upper body, back, core, all that. Gives you all these examples of exercises. It actually maps out, you guys can see here. It actually shows you what muscles are engaging while you're doing the exercise. It actually gives you tips on, if you have certain problems with your body, not to do this exercise, like what it's not recommended for. What else do we have here? The level of the exercise. The target areas, modifications as well. But this is a very valuable book. Anyone that is in the fitness industry, or if you just want to know about anatomy in general, this is a very good book. I continue to read and use this as like a reference, and there's tons of exercises in here as well that you can just go and try, like especially if you're a beginning trainer. You can literally go through a lot of these exercises and like build programs, and then you'll have in-depth knowledge of, how the body is actually working, as you're doing these different exercises, and you'll know what to target. And I think this is a real valuable book right here. Okay. I'll be keeping this one for a minute. All right, my last one is a little bit of entertainment. The Last Ronin. All you guys out there that love the Ninja Turtles, this is a great story. I mean, it's a sad story, but it's a great story. I definitely resonate with the character. The character, those of you that are familiar with the Ninja Turtles, this is Michelangelo. In this particular tale, he's lost his 3 brothers and his father. He's the last one left, and he's looking to not only avenge his family, but at the end of the day, he really wants to join them, because he's lonely. He's on this lone warrior path, but he has this great mission that he's willing to die for, and that he totally believes in, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get this thing complete, and he's also doing this like for the greater good of everyone within the story. Okay. But it also teaches you a lot about like leadership. It's big on leadership, relationships as well, man. How important relationships are, like those real relationships, not the superficial ones. There's a huge family element, and not just the good sides of family. It's it goes between all sides. Family, those relationships are multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? But The Last Ronin, definitely check this out. Read it for yourself. You'll be happy you did. It's a quick read. You see, it's not too thick. Quick read, nice pictures, nice art, great story. You could read this in an hour.
You said that's one about who? Michelangelo?
Yeah, this is Michelangelo here.
That's the purple one, right?
The orange one.
Oh, orange. Oh, okay.
And that's funny because Michelangelo is usually like the comedic brother, little brother type, but he takes on a different persona, I guess you could say, in this one.
They usually the goofy one.
Yeah, he's usually the goofy one.
They always make fun of him or something like that.
So seeing him in this light, it's totally different from how he's usually portrayed, but it's done very well. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense on why he's at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a good one. Last Ronin. Check it out.
Okay. We got The Last Ronin, Think and Grow Rich. The other one was the anatomy book. Mm-hmm. We got The Power of Empathy.
Power of Empathy.
We have Badass Habits.
Badass Habits.
And then we have Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 6 good books to check out. And then the one, what's it called? KJ actually, my brother, told me to get the what's it called? How to communicate and talk to anybody. It's an audiobook. That's what he told me to get. So I'm gonna have to go and buy that junk on audiobook. So I definitely need to get my communication skills up. So I'm gonna definitely go get that because it's definitely gonna be beneficial, not just for me, but it's like being able to, no, not just for me, like anybody that can read the book, but being able to communicate, talk to people, relay the message that I'm trying to give out, not stutter while I'm talking, stuff like that. So definitely gonna be an impactful book for me, I know.
And that's one beneficial to all of us. We all can use that.
Right. Because like I said, you got to be able to communicate with different people, like business owners, they have different lingos, entrepreneurs have different lingos, investors have different lingos. So you got to be able to like dialect and really like pronounce your sentences just like that right there. Good key. Reason why I'm getting the book right there, number one. Reason why I'm getting the book.
So speaking smoother and clear.
Speaking smoother and clear. That's really like a big thing I need to do. Like controlling your words, like not talking too fast, talking the right tone. That might be in the book. I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure it'll probably like go over that, like having the right tone. Your like you was talking earlier, like your presence, how to speak in like actual conversations, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that's like things that'll be going over. That's like one of the things I'm like really looking forward to get out the book, honestly. But as far as that is your message for today. King Deontay, King Shinobi, and we out.
Peace out.